Welcome, friends, to this second session of our one-day program here in Florida. I'm very happy that I was able to join you all, and especially grateful to you for singing happy birthday and presenting the gifts to me. The best gift anybody can give me, I want to tell you secretly, for future use, of course. The best gift is if you can resolve to do meditation for at least 5 minutes every morning with love and devotion. If you want to give me a gift even now, it's not too late, we're still there. Then you can say today, yes, we want to give you a birthday gift, and we will from today do 5 minutes of meditation with love and devotion. Any givers of gifts today? Thank you very much. I'm so happy to receive your gifts. These are the best gifts one can get, best gifts one can give. Because there is no greater gift than the gift of love. I used to take some courses in mathematics and some simple arithmetic taught me about love. That looks funny that arithmetic, science of mathematics should talk about love. How it came about was, I realized if you have $100 with you and you want to give a gift to somebody and you give $40, you are left with 60. You have parted with $40 of yours. You are left with 60. The other person is 40. The total is still 100, what it was in the beginning. Not enhanced anything. On the other hand, if you give gift of knowledge, supposing you have 100 units of knowledge and you share 40 units of knowledge with somebody, your knowledge doesn't go down. So mathematically speaking, after you give 40 units of knowledge, the total becomes 140, which is pretty good. But if you give gift of love, you cannot give love without getting it back. Therefore, if you have 100 units of love in you and you gave 40 to somebody, you get 40 back immediately. Total 180. QED, mathematically proved. The best gift to give is gift of love. Anyway, in more serious terms, people do not realize that the spiritual path, what we call the spiritual path, the path of mysticism, is nothing but a path of love and devotion. And love and devotion is not a religion. Some people who are atheists come to me and say, well, we want to listen to what you're saying, but we are atheists. It does not disqualify an atheist from having love and devotion. Atheists, in fact, sometimes love better because they don't have the prejudice and bias many religions create in us. They have a cleaner slate sometimes, and atheists do better. I loved the atheist who came to me and said, thank God I am an atheist. So atheism has nothing to do with being spiritual or not spiritual. Spirituality, which is the way you discover your own spirit, the way you discover yourself, does not involve religion at all. Religion was supposed to be guiding us to discover our own reality, our own truth inside. It started with the same aim, and people in the beginning, when great masters came, and they founded religion. Well, first of all, they never founded religion. That people founded religions mostly after their death. They were not religions when they were alive. In these great masters' times, when they told us, go within and find the truth, they were only telling us that the truth lies inside. That what looks like real outside is actually real inside, and it looks real outside because of that. They taught us some very basic truths. We made it into religions by introducing rituals, ceremonies, do this, don't do that. All these do's and don'ts that we introduced and made them into religions. So religions drifted away from spirituality. Religions began to go to church regularly, go to temple regularly, sing songs there, sing hymns, chant, speak out aloud to God, as if God needs such voice to listen to us and thank Him for this thing. And what He is really giving us, we are not thanking Him for that. The real gift He has given us, for which I don't think we ever thank Him, is He has given us a human life in which we have the opportunity to discover the truth. We don't seem to thank for that at all. We take it for granted. Some of the best things we ever get, we take for granted. That we can breathe, we can be alive, we can think, we can seek, we can find the truth, we can love. We don't thank for that. These are the real things, gifts we have been given. So, religion has put us more into rituals and ceremonies. Do this. If you don't do this, you belong to another religion. Imagine what we have done to our spiritual traditions by use of religion. Religion to block spirituality. How can you imagine that, take the major religions of the world, take Christianity for instance. Christ came and taught the world, taught the universe, the kingdom of God is within you. Great message. The greatest message that we needed to hear, that everything was within us. And what are we doing? We had crusades, killing people. We kill randomly even people today. And what about his teachings? We composed his teachings in Gospels. They were prepared. No Gospel was prepared at all for 45 years. Then some Gospels came. The final, what we call the Holy Bible, was composed 200 years after he was crucified and died. And we say that's the Word of God. And then an ecumenical council in the 7th century AD revised the whole Bible. And we still say it's the Word of God. Then a king of England decided to edit and change a version. And King James' version of the Bible, produced by a king who didn't even believe much in God, came to this country, United States, and we say, that's the Word of God. Human beings have tampered with those teachings and changed those teachings, and we still think it's the Word of God. If religion can do this to our minds, you can imagine what damage it has done. Where is spirituality gone when you think of this? A man came to me and he said, I am going to give you a Bible that has been composed from 14 different Bibles. I said, 14 Bibles exist? He gave me the whole list of the 14 Bibles, all having different descriptions. And then I found, when I was studying comparative religion and I studied about 11 major religions of the world. When I was studying, I discovered that the church divided so rapidly and they won't accept each other. I am a Methodist, I am a Lutheran, I am a Baptist. I won't go to your church, I'll go to my church. Who are we worshipping? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about the teachings of that single one master who said, go within and find out the truth? Or are we going by different descriptions of what we should be doing outside? And then take another major religion, Islam. They're killing each other today. Why? I am a Sunni, you are a Shia. They both say, Allahu Akbar, God is great, and then kill each other. Both killing each other in the name of the same Creator, same God. How is that possible? No, after Prophet Muhammad died, some said we are the Khalifas and we have to run the show. The others said no, he named his son-in-law Ali to carry on his work. And they assassinated Ali, and then they began to kill each other. Every year they kill each other in the name of the same Allah. What kind of religion is that? What have we made of religion? What have we made of the Quran? That this is how we are following it. You go into other major religions and you will find the same problem there, that we have forgotten the original message of the founders of religions, who all said, you want to find the truth. And they spoke in their language. And in their language, the words were different. We go after those words and say it's a separate pathway. The pathway to reality is the same. It has always been the same. It is to go within yourself and discover. So it does not matter in what way you are going, where you are born, what religion you follow. The pathway is still the same. When we get tied down to the rituals and ceremonies of a religion, we obstruct ourselves, we block ourselves from finding the truth. Therefore, perfect living masters who come here, they don't tell us, give up your religion. They don't say, convert to something else. They say, stay with your religion, but follow what the founder of your religion said. They said, find the truth within yourself. So no matter, believe what you're doing and do as best as you can. Your work in the world is cut out for you by your destiny. You came with a destiny. When you are destined to do something, you will carry out that. Look at the average human life. When we are born with a destiny. We call pralabdha. That means destiny based upon an explanation which we give. Could be past actions, could be something that we picked up as a DVD in the causal plane. Whatever explanation you give, when we are born with a destined life, there are about 80% of the events of life over which we have no control at all. Not even the illusion of free will there. We don't control where we are born. We don't control when we are born. We don't control where we will die. We don't control when we will die, how we will die. We don't control the various accidents that happen in life. We don't control the places we will go to because they are all based upon our place of birth. We don't control much of it. These events keep on happening in our life. We look at opportunities. Few opportunities come our way. None of them are open to us. We don't have the opportunity to pick up what we like. So 80% of the life we lead, we have no choice at all in them. And the few 20% where we feel we have to make choices, more than half the choices are mistakes. We say, oh, I made a wrong choice. And afterwards we regret it. And therefore, what are the 10% right choices you are making and you think you make your own life? You come with a package and the very little feeling that you get, you dominate over the events of life is very small. But we don't look at it like this. And we don't see drama of life as it is. Supposing we changed our perspective. Supposing we decided not to look at life as something of a big only life and only place to live and don't know all the problems of life. Supposing we say we are going to look at life as a play. We are going to look at life as a play of many actors. Supposing we say we are going to sit in a place in the audience and not on the stage. Supposing we say the place where we want to sit and watch this show should be a very quiet, nice place of our own choosing where we can make our own chair, select our own place, our seat, our chair, and then watch the play. If we made that decision and then chose to sit behind the eyes in our head and say, now we are sitting there, let's watch the show. We see many actors. The very first actor you will come to know is the body in which you are sitting. That's the first actor. The fact that you are sitting in the actor does not make it less of an actor. Don't say, this body is going to see a show. It won't work like that. People tried that. It didn't happen like that. If you sitting in the body think that's you, you're watching a show, it's a terrible show, you are involved in it. Then you will never be able to see it as a show. But if you say you are sitting in the center of your head, a house, a body, and it happens that the body you are wearing with that name given to it is one of the actors in this play. And then you see all the other actors interacting, including this. And you sit quietly in your chair up there and watch the show. Your life will change instantly if you can do that. If you do that, you'll see the whole life, whole world will change. Because we take this physical body to be real, and therefore its association with whatever is happening outside as real, and think we are in control of everything. That is why we are so miserable. Most of our misery and sadness is being created by karmic action and interaction and reactions, because we are doing it with our body thinking this is us. If you separate yourself and take this body to be an actor, the rest are actors, this world will look like a play, and you will just be watching. You can keep on smiling inside in the audience. That's your audience chair. And you can keep on smiling and go through this whole world. What about the ups and downs that you will face? Of course, that makes a play more interesting, doesn't it? If the play, supposing you want to go and see a movie, or a play, or a drama, and it's all goody-goody stuff, you'll never like it. But look at the ups and downs, tragedies taking place, some tragic events taking place, the tragic heroes coming up and meeting challenges in that play. You're willing to pay a good ticket for that. Ordinary movie, $7, $10, you pay to see horror stuff there. And if you see a Broadway show, you'll pay $150 to see all horror, tragic things happening there. You're willing to see that. Why are you not willing to see this play? This is like a movie, it's like a play. When we go and see a movie, have you noticed that we think that the action is taking place in front of us on the screen? Our eyes are riveted on the screen. We are looking at the play there. And those shadows, which look like people, they move around, they are shadows. They are not real. And we say, I hope this doesn't happen. I hope he doesn't get killed now. I hope the accident. We're taking it so real. We make it so real, and we cry, and we laugh, as if it is all really happening there. And we also, by the way, I might say I cry a lot too when I see a movie. I don't remember crying in life, maybe once or twice, but I cry in every movie I see, even comedy. It's too comic. My children come with me and they carry extra handkerchief for me to wipe my tears during movies. How can we take that movie so seriously? How can we get so involved in it and feel real things are happening? And then we are waiting with anticipation. What will happen next? Do we realize at that time that what is going to happen next is already filmed and already going to be projected the same way? That whatever movie is going to take place, nothing will change. And yet our anticipation is, now what will happen next? We totally identify ourselves with the characters of that movie and become one with them. If somebody said, don't be stupid, what are you looking at there? This is all coming from behind you. The projector that's creating the movie is behind you, it's not in front. And the projector has a film which was recorded much earlier, filmed much earlier. There's nothing in front, it's just a shadow. And if the light wasn't there behind the film, which is pre-recorded, nothing could be seen in front. Look back. You say, no, but the movie is in front. I can't look back. This situation where we are so tied down to looking in front, looking outside, and not looking within, not looking behind the eyes that are seeing, has caused us to get so involved that a movie that is pre-filmed, predetermined, is we are watching it, we become participants and cry and laugh and suffer. We do it for good reason though. A Greek philosopher explained the reason. That was Aristotle. Aristotle said that we need these to watch the play. At that time there were no movies, but there were plays. He said we need to watch these plays and identify with those characters, because we as human beings do not have the capacity to hold our emotions within ourselves. We have to get rid of excess of emotions. Therefore we go and see these movies and plays. When we see a movie, we forget that it's not real. We deliberately forget what Aristotle calls a willing suspension of disbelief. In Greek, translated would mean that we willingly suspend our disbelief. Normally we won't believe it's real, but for that moment we willingly suppress that and say it's real. And then when we cry, we express our feelings, thinking we are there with the movie, we are getting rid of our own excess of emotions. What he calls purgation of emotions, that the real role of this play is to get excess of emotions removed. In the same way, this world that we are living in, when we go through its tragic and comic consequences and sequences that we live through, we are really removing the excess of spiritual emotions. We are really removing something that we call karma. Do you know this word karma? People don't understand what it is. They think karma means your action, and that because you act in a certain way, therefore you have to be punished or rewarded. That's the simple definition they give to karma. Karma is not that. Karma is the basis on which life is created. Karma is the very basis. Without that, no life can be created. It's a much more subtle thing. Karma is not in action at all. If you act without intention, it's not karma. Therefore, karma is created only in the mind. Karma is worked out only in the mind. Karma is played out in the mind. The karma is suffered in the mind. And karma created in the mind, nowhere else. The action that follows that intention or work in the mind is secondary. It's not a basis for karma. Supposing I'm walking out, somebody just hits me by accident. Have I hit him by accident? Has he hit me? Did I create karma? Or was it payoff of karma? What is its relationship? There are so many events taking place in our life. Do you know no event can take place in our life without karma? Some people say, was that part my karma? I say, your whole life is a karma. Without karma, you can't be alive. Karma is a basis of creating the experience of life. Karma is much deeper than that. Karma comes so that we overload stuff, overload baggage on our minds, and we can get rid of it over here. It's just like the emotional response to seeing a movie. Exactly the same thing we do here in life. That we are able to remove the pressure of excess of karma from our lives and become lighter. That's what we do. So we can't see that because on the movie we walk back out and go home. And then we realize that was a good movie. I cried a lot, but it was a big relief to see that. But you can't say that with this life because unless we go home, how will we say that? So therefore, if you want to really appreciate the role of karma, good and bad, the role of ups and downs, you will really appreciate it when you get out of it and go home. And then you will see why it was happening like that. When does this karma finish? Where does it originate? Where does it finish? It does not start here. It does not finish here. It starts at a point which we have forgotten. It starts at a point which is millions of years old. Within ourselves. Our self is immortal, has no life. But we put in a karmic machine in our heads. We put a karmic machine in our lives which has stayed with us for millions of years, and we call it the human mind. The human mind has been picking up all this stuff and playing it out all along. Of course, when you come into an experience like this for the first time, you have no karma. And people ask me this question, that if karma is merely based upon what we did in the past, what happened when we had no past? When we came from a true home and began to live in this physical world, there was no karma. Where did this karma of the first life come from? The karma of the first life came from an unlived notional past life. Because karma was picked up like a movie cassette or a DVD. I sometimes give example that if you take a DVD, it's already programmed, and the DVD has certain scenes that you live there, and they are related to previous scenes in the sequences of previous DVDs. If you pick up a DVD for one life and come here, and live that life, it is based upon the same DVD contains its past life. And since the past life must have another past life, it has another past life. How many past lives do you have? Infinite. In order to create any life, you need past life. The past life has to be created from one earlier than that, and so on, ad infinitum. And how far will it go? Forever. Every time you are living, you create karma, you pay off karma, therefore it goes on forever. Here, a soul enters the domain of the mind with no karma and gets into an experience conjointly with the mind of karma, and therefore plays the first DVD which contains the past life, and the past life becomes real just because to justify the present life. After that, what happens? Then the present life becomes a real experience that the soul has gone through, and the next life becomes real, and so then the next after that becomes real. So, having come with one notional, unlived past life, we have created real past lives. And then we are living in a cycle of karma all the time. And since it is infinite, it's a very big trap. The soul, our true identity, our true spirit, our own real self gets trapped into this and keeps on moving continuously in the same experience. It came only for one life. It came just for having one ride, and the ride is such that we get attached to the ride and we keep on riding the same ride over and over again and never go back home. But how can the soul of which we are talking now be so stupid? Of course, the word stupid is generally used for the mind, but I for a moment want to use it for the soul. How can a soul be so stupid as to say, knowing everything, that I am going into an adventure land, into a dream land, I am going into a temporary experience, and there's a danger of getting caught there. There's a danger that I might start taking it as real and get caught up and never come out. How can a soul that's intelligent take that risk? No, the soul did not take that risk. The soul made arrangements that when we are fed up of that experience, even though it's again and again repeated, some experiences are repeated, but when I get tired of it, I should be able to come back. So it builds into its destiny, which it picks up. The DVD contains the element that at a certain time, which the soul predicts, you will be finished with having your adventure, and you'd like to go back home. You have made an arrangement right at that time, that at that time I'll come home, and I have to make an arrangement within the play, within the delusion of this world, how to come back. And that system that we set up is the system that we now call being found by a perfect living master who tells us how to go back home. It's not an arbitrary thing that is happening. It is prearranged by the living force of the soul itself. It prearranged it before we ever came here. When we have had enough of this world, we go back. I remember on the recommendation of somebody, I saw that movie called Inception. It was an interesting movie because in that they show that you can dream and dream within a dream and even go 3 times in a dream and have different experiences than what is happening in your real life. But you remain connected. But the startling thing for me was how 2 things in the dream matched the spiritual reality that I am aware of. One was that the time frame in a dream sequence is very different from the wakeful state. That 10 minutes of dreaming can create an hour of experience. If you dream within a dream, 10 minutes of wakeful experience, an hour of first dream can create a lifetime of 50 years of second dream. This is in the movie. They were going into second dream, living a whole lifetime. And actually it was only 10 minutes. When I put this against the truth of being created from no time became a few minutes of time. And a few minutes of time in the first dream became an hour or two, then became a lifetime. And then it became a series of lifetimes. We are in the sixth level of dream, not third. The movie only goes to third level of dream. Here we are going into sixth level of dream, and therefore we have created our permanence over here. But nothing is permanent. In reality, there was no time at all. When we go back, it's not even a second in which the whole thing happened. And this is all experienced by us when we go into meditation and discover what's the reality of time and space. Scientists are trying to find the reality of time and space outside, and they are very doubtful if they'll find out that it doesn't exist. They're trying to prove how it came into being. The Big Bang created it. There was neither space nor time, because time is just an ordinate of space and therefore doesn't actually exist. We only experience it. That's what they are saying. Then they are saying matter does not exist because matter consists of atoms, and atoms consist of electrons and protons, and they are so small. They are such small particles, if they are particles at all, which is also doubtful because they don't follow the rules of particles. Sometimes they become waves, sometimes they become particles. And therefore, this world consists of all the space between them, and all space is empty or full of something, but not matter. And that becomes the experience of matter for a human being. This is science speaking, not metaphysics. Physics is speaking this, that this is the structure of the universe. It's all hollow. When I used to go to college, I studied physics for my BSc course. My physics professor told me in the 40s. In the 40s he told me that this world is all empty space. Supposing we were to take the space out, this world will become like a football. This whole earth will collapse to the size of a football. The rest is all space. I was said, amazing. Then I came to the university in this country and met a professor of physics. He said that guy was wrong. If all the space is taken out, this earth of ours will become like a marble. And football is too big. Today they say if all the space is taken out, it will become less than a pinhead. What is this world? It's all space, all hollow. We're living in a hollow world according to physics. What about this? What about the spiritual side of it? The spiritual side says there is nothing outside. Space and time are being created by consciousness, and experience is being loaded into this consciousness from within the mind. Nothing is really outside. But look how real we made it. We have made reality out of nothing. Out of hollowness we have made all reality, both by science and spirituality. So therefore, we are living in an experience. We are not living in reality. Reality is inside us, from where we are creating this experience, which is not real. There is a word they use in the Indian scriptures to describe this world. They say it is Maya or Mithya. Maya means, they translate into English, illusion. Mithya means one that does not last. That is not going to last. The whole thing is not going to last. But definition of Maya is being taken as illusion. That's not a correct definition. Because when we say illusion, at once our mind says that's unreal. But this is not true, it's real. What makes it real then? If it is illusion, how can it be real at the same time? The answer is little subtle. The answer is that the experience of the world is real. Absolutely real. But when we think the world itself is real, because of that experience, that's the illusion. Let me give you another example. Supposing we have a dream. In the dream, somebody gives me a cup of water like this and says, you are thirsty, have a cup of water. I take the cup in my hand and I take it and I say, yeah, it's real water. It's cold also. Tastes good. I touched it, I saw it, tasted it. It's very good water. And the cup is real. How can it not be real? And then I wake up and I find There is no cup, there is no water. But does it mean I didn't have a dream? Of course I had a real dream of a cup of water. Because of the dream, because of my experience of having a cup of water, I believed that the glass must be real, the water must be real. That's the illusion. It's the same illusion right now. There's no difference. The experience of the world is real. The world is not real. The experience is making us believe that the world is real. It's a very old question actually, these philosophers have been putting to themselves. Is the tree there because we see it? Or we see it because it is there? Which is true? Is the seeing of the tree creating the tree? Or the tree creating that we can see it? If you believe the tree has to be there to see it, then you are a materialist. If you believe that you are able to see, that creates the tree, and otherwise there is no tree, you are an idealist. This debate has been going on for thousands of years. Which one is true? Do you create the experience and make things real? Or real things have to be there before you can experience them? Very difficult to know. One of the easy ways to know would be what happens first, based on the law of cause and effect. If you go by that law, supposing tree comes first and then I see it, then the tree is real. But supposing I see it first and then the tree appears, then seeing is first. So which is first? The answer is they are both completely simultaneous at the same time. Your seeing of the tree and the tree happen at the same time. Whether you are projecting and seeing, or you are seeing and therefore having the experience of seeing it, both are simultaneous. Therefore, in terms of cause and effect, you cannot prove it either way. That is there any way to really for certain find out if we are projecting this, or is it real and therefore we are experiencing it? Is the material world real and we are temporary experiencer of it? Or the experiencer is real and generating an experience of the physical world and making it look real? So when we go into that question, no answer can be found outside. We tried thousands of years. We have tried to find an answer. But when you go inside, you find the answer. Because when you withdraw attention inside and see how consciousness functions, when you see what is happening inside your consciousness and the creative power of consciousness inside, you see that the whole thing is being created from consciousness. And you also see there's only one consciousness. Supposing you have a dream and you meet 1,000 people in the dream, and you say, this is a big world, I met 1,000 people. When you wake up, you were the 1,000 people. Only one was the 1,000 people. How can one become 1,000 people? Because those 1,000 people were a dream, were illusions that looked real. They looked real while the dream was on. When the dream ended, it finished. This is the same kind of situation here, that we are observing things from one single dreamer. A single dreamer, only one, totality of consciousness, is creating for its own sake, by consciousness, becoming aware of something. And whatever it becomes aware becomes a reality outside. We do not create illusions, we create realities. But we use the method of illusion to create reality. We have not created any illusion, this is all real. Every time we go to any level of consciousness, it looks real. So therefore, we create levels of reality and not levels of illusion. Of course, the method consciousness uses is, it's an illusion. The consciousness believes that's real, it becomes real. That's the power of consciousness, to be conscious of things. And a dream is a good example, a good analogy, that in a dream we think it's real. Supposing in a dream we want to check out, am I dreaming or am I really awake and this is all real? And we check with 20 people there. Tell me, is it a dream or real? They all say it's real. So I'll say, I've got a lot of evidence, empirical evidence. 20 people have told me it's real. So it's real. And then you wake up. Where are those 20 people? They were myself. The same thing is happening. Here we are depending upon empirical, so-called empirical evidence, evidence of the same level of consciousness, the same level of experience to justify if it's real or not real. How can you find out during a dream if it's real or not? Supposing you have strong intuitive power and in a dream you are able to know it's a dream. I've had such dreams, you must have had such dreams when you can come to know, I know it's a dream. Then what do we do in the dream? We tell people, do you know it's a dream? Now, if you really knew it's a dream, you wouldn't say that. Because when you wake up, you don't tell anybody. So how can, although you can knowledge, although your knowledge is correct, although your knowledge is reflecting the truth, but your awareness is not. Because you are saying the right thing in the dream, I know it's a dream, that's truth. But if you knew really, you wouldn't tell anybody. But you run around in the dream, thinking that's your body telling it's a dream. You wake up, that was neither your body, nor was anything real there at all. Not even your statements, they were all part of the dream. It's the same thing right here happening. Therefore, when you wake up to a higher level of consciousness, and you discover that is all created by your own power of consciousness, all generated by your own mind, it's a great experience. And it answers basic fundamental questions in metaphysics and in ethics, morality, ethics. All those questions are answered if you can wake up to that level where they are created, where they are being created. And you also know why they are being created. You also know why good and bad is being created, how the pairs of opposites are being created, what is the purpose of all these. Ultimately, the grand purpose of appreciating something that we already have in reality, but we want to appreciate it more by creating the illusion of realities. Not one reality, several levels of realities. So, all these things that we can debate and talk about forever can only truly be revealed by personal experience. Now, somebody asked me once, did you have personal experience of a higher reality? I said, I believe so. I have a feeling it was real. He said, can you prove it that it was real? Or not another dream? I said, well, I can prove it if you can prove to me that when you wake up in the morning, you are awake. Let somebody come to me and say, when I wake up in the morning, I can prove I am awake. I have never seen anybody been able to do that. Why? Because when you go into a sleep state, a dream state, and you wake up, it is not necessary to prove to yourself you are awake. I have never seen anybody pinch oneself and say, am I awake? Or check with somebody, am I awake? Nobody is looking for proof. Why? Supposing you wake up in the morning and 10 people standing say you are still dreaming. You believe them or you believe your own experience? Wakefulness carries its own proof. Wakefulness carries the same proof that a higher spiritual experience carries. When you wake up from sleep in the morning, you remember that you went to sleep. Think of it. Supposing you forgot that you went to sleep, you'll never know whether you're awake or not. The moment you know that you went to sleep, you are awake. It does not mean you have to open your eyes. You're lying in bed, you've gone to sleep. You're unaware of this body, having dream sequences, and suddenly you are awake. Body is still in the same position. Eyes are still closed. You know you are awake. What is this new thing that has happened to tell you you are awake, and at that time, not 1,000 people can tell you you are still sleeping, and you know you are awake. This change of the level of consciousness into a more wakeful state carries its own proof, because you say, what do they do? I remember I slept on this bed, and I am back here. This connection through memory of a previous existence in that old form carries greater proof than any other proof in the world. That is why when we wake up, that's the greatest proof of wakefulness, that we remember that we went to sleep. Same thing happens in the highest levels of consciousness. that you remember you were there before. You don't go into a new area. Meditation does not take you into a new world. It takes you to the old world. It takes you from where you came. When you return to your own true home, you don't feel you come to a new place. You say, I've woken up. Wow, what a great dream I had. Not one dream, I had dreams within dreams. And they were so fascinating. I'm so happy I saw them. Because now I can appreciate what my wakeful state is like. Some of the dreams, very horrible dreams. But then that makes me feel how lucky I am to be in a good state. So the wakefulness into higher levels of consciousness is identical to the wakefulness that we experience in the physical world. And the proof of it lies itself in the fact that you can recall the previous one. Now we talk of this recall. I want to explain to you how do we recall. What is memory? Memory is the most important thing that's generating this experience in this physical world. Because when we experience the physical world, we are experiencing it in time and space. And the time consists of three parts. We all know it. It consists of past and present and future. What's happening now is present. I am talking to you in the present. What happened yesterday, what happened this morning is past. What will happen tomorrow is future. What will happen later this evening is future. These are general terms. What's the truth? The truth is 1 second past is past. Before I could utter a word, before I uttered it, it was future. I uttered it, it was past. Did you notice that there was no present at all? Did you ever notice that there is no such thing as present? People say, live in the now. I hear people preaching, live in the now. And don't they realize now has no time at all? Not even a billionth part of a nanosecond? That before you can say anything is future, the moment you start saying it is past. Have we ever lived in the now? Answer would be no, but have we ever lived anywhere else besides now? No. What's the truth then? Where are we living? The only point in time where we can live is now. Nobody's ever lived any other time except now. And now has no time. Are we living in a timeless state? Does it look like that? Not at all. It looks like we are living, some moments happened, hours passed, days passed, tomorrow will come, we are making plans for tomorrow. Life doesn't look like we are living in a timeless state. But if we are living in now, we are living in a timeless state. And now certainly has no time at all. Now is a meeting point of the past and the future. So there is no real present at all. What do we call present? We call the immediate few seconds, few minutes, few hours that have passed as present. When I say I'm talking to you in the present, I'm talking of the little time that just passed. I'm not talking of actual now, because now has no time. Therefore, how can you live in the past and call it present? There's only one way. By recalling, remembering. You remember what happened a few seconds ago, therefore you say present. You remember what happened 5 minutes ago, it's called the present. Little later, it becomes past. Immediate past we are calling present. But that's past. Before it happened, it was future. When it happened, it was past. But we call it present, it's immediately happened now. Therefore, the truth is there is no present at all. There's only past and future. Now let's see what is future. Supposing we don't have three things, hope, fear, and anticipation. Supposing we don't hope for anything, are not afraid of anything, and don't anticipate anything for the next day, which is the same. All three are called anticipation. Hope is positive, fear is negative, and anticipation is neutral. Supposing we have none of these. Supposing these words disappear from all the dictionaries of the world, as if they don't exist, do you know future will collapse immediately, there will be no future. Did you know that we create our future only with these three functions in our mind? If you don't have these three functions going, there is no future at all. And how do we do these? What do we do to have hope or fear, anticipation? We use time. Therefore, they are in the past. These functions that are supposedly creating a future are also the past. Examine this very carefully, you will find that where we are living today is only in the past. There is no present and there is no future. And how can you live in the past? Only through recall of memory. There is no other way to live in the past. You recall very vividly, it becomes life. Now this is a very simple commonsensical thing to examine and see, is this the nature of time through which we are living? You'll notice that we are, through memory, generating an experience which looks like past, present and future. Go carefully over it, that only memory is creating this. Now you can't have a memory if nothing happened. If nothing can happen, there being no time in the present, how did the memory come about? Memory of what? It can't happen in the physical world. There's no possibility of having a memory which is being played out, recalled, because nothing happened here. There was no time here. So it must have been recorded somewhere else. There has to be a place where memories were recorded or generated. Maybe nothing happened. Maybe we just put on memory capsules. Supposing we generate a memory capsule that this happened, it actually never happened, and then install in our consciousness, we'll experience life as if it is really happening. That's exactly what's going on. Those memory capsules, those capsules which we say contain memories of a lifetime, we picked up just one of those in a timeless state, and when you play it out, it looks like past, present and future all were created, and we are living our lives like that. When I say from the Akashic records, from the causal plane, we picked up those DVDs, that's exactly what I mean. The DVD is only a memory of something that has not happened. But when we install, it becomes our memory. When it becomes our memory, we recall it and think it's the real world going on. Very easy way to set up this world. To create this world through memory capsules which themselves are generated through consciousness, then they implant them into the self and generate the whole thing, including the experience of your being this body, your being this sense, your being this mind, and you create the whole thing. So it's very simply created. It looks complex because of our assumptions. We assume this world is real because of the nature of this experience. And not only nature of the experience, by shutting off the experience of how it is being generated. If you were to watch a movie and constantly look behind, where is the movie being projected from? If you constantly look at the projector in the movie will never be real. You can try it out. Next time you waste your money on a movie. But that will be waste. But if you don't look at the projector, it becomes real, worthwhile. And when we have to create a world like this, why wouldn't we make it worthwhile? We have shut off our awareness of the projector. We shut off our awareness that the light of consciousness is going through a pre-filled memory capsule and they're generating this world. But you can turn around and see. If I told you go to a movie hall and see where the light is coming from, which causes all those images to appear, you will turn around and see. Same thing you can do here. You can just turn around inside from where the light of consciousness projects through a memories capsule picked up by you. And therefore, you are watching that outside. Now, if you can go back and find that you picked up that capsule, you picked up that memory DVD, then I have to say that you are the maker of your free will and the maker of your destiny. At least you had a choice. And you picked it up. It's true that when you play it, you lose all control over that free will. But there you had the free will. Supposing you go to a higher level of consciousness beyond the DVDs, beyond the mind, beyond this kind of creation in past, present and future and time, and go to the timeless state of your own consciousness, what will you discover? That everything was made by you. Not only your destiny, everybody's destiny. The whole experience was generated from the top by totality of consciousness. Therefore, that was your will too. So you can't say that, why am I going through this karma? Who put it on me? Why is God so angry with me? Why am I going through this? You did it to yourself 3 times, not once. You did it in the very beginning by creating the whole world like this, including yourself. You did it to yourself by picking up this particular DVD to play it out now. And now you do it again by saying, I made a mistake yesterday. The same thing you are doing again and again. So this is just to make it a very interesting play with ups and downs. This is not the whole play. This physical world we are seeing is a very, very small section of our total play. The play is vaster, much vaster. There are so many universes on the physical plane. We are in a physical universe. Have you seen what's happening in a galaxy today? Another galaxy? Have you seen what's happening in other planets like ours? Do we know the other planets? Well, there is one law in mathematics. It's called the law of probability. It's today accepted as a mathematical law. The law of probability says that certain options which are given to you are probable. If one happens, the other will happen. It also is based upon the law of averages. Both are mathematical laws. Nobody till today, no mathematician has been able to prove how they work. But they work. They say if you toss a coin has heads and tails. If the coin is completely equally balanced, a good coin, you throw it up, it can fall heads or tails. If you throw it up second time, it can fall like that. Supposing you throw it 100 times, it could be all 100 heads or the tails. It's never happened. Why not? Never happened. It could be 40 heads, 60 tails, 55 that, or it could be 20 and 80 at most. Not 100. Supposing you throw it 1,000,000 times, it will be exactly 500,000 heads and 500,000 tails. It has been tested out. Does the coin have a memory of what it's doing? Not at all. Does the coin remember how many times I was heads and how I was tails? No. Then what law is prevailing to even out this division of heads and tails on the tossing of a coin? It's a law prevailing in the whole universe called the law of probability and the law of averages. When you toss a coin and it comes heads, you have increased the probability of it becoming tails next time. If 2 times it's been head, you still further increase the possibility of its falling tails now. That's the law of probability, the mathematical laws. You know who's taking advantage of this law? The casinos. Have you been to these gambling casinos? They are using this law of probability and law of averages and making millions out of us. Because they know that so many times even a throw of anything will ultimately create an average in their favor. And if they keep a little edge in their favor, they win. But these 2 laws, the law of averages and the law of probability, if you apply it to this universe, if you apply it to the observed galaxies of this universe, the law of probability says the chances of another Earth-like planet with the same conditions, identical conditions on this, from the observed universe of today, there would be at least 28,000 more planets like the Earth. In the observed galaxies. And why should we assume that life is only existing on one of these planets when the conditions are identical? Therefore, it's very reasonable to surmise that there is life existing in other parts of this universe, of the physical universe itself. But is it merely a law of probability that we have to depend upon? Or is there any other way of verification? Yes, there is another way of verification. Travel. Go there and check out. Now, we don't have any known means of traveling to these galaxies because of a very big obstacle, and the obstacle is time and space. How can that become an obstacle? I see a star, an actual star, a star is like a sun. Our sun is also a star. the very first nearest star, I want to go and see it and travel, is 1 light year away. You know what light year means? The time it takes light to travel for 1 year. Since I can only see the star from the light that comes from there, when I look at the star, I am seeing the star that was there 1 year ago. There's no way to see any star in the sky which is there today. Incapable, totally incapable. We look at the sky, we are not seeing the sky as it is today. Everything we see there is 1 year old, 2 years old, million years old, billion years old. That's the big problem. You want to travel to another galaxy which you are seeing in the telescope, you are trying to go back a billion years. You're not going where this is happening today. No matter how hard, how fast you travel, it's not a question of distance. It's a question of distance plus time. The distance and time are the same thing. You can say 1 light year away, or you can say 1 year away. It's the same thing. 1 year in the past, or 1 light year away, it's the same thing. Now we are watching things which are billion light years away. So when you look at those things, how can you travel there? We don't have any means right now. We're trying to see if we can do something to this time frame. It looks like time is not what we've always believed it to be. Looks like time can be warped, and we can create a wormhole by warping and making a hole in time and travel very fast. Maybe one day we'll do it. Maybe theoretically we can do it even today. Theoretically we know how space can be bent. If space is bent, time gets bent with it, being an ordinate of space. Therefore, if we can bend space, we can bend time. We can bend it to an extent that if we are here 1,000 miles away at this end of the paper and 1,000 years away, it's the same thing. So if we can bend this somehow, if we know the techniques of bending it, we can be a few feet away from 1,000 years away. We could, in one jump, go to 1,000 years earlier. This is a physical possibility by science. And they are examining how to do it. They have theoretically at photon level, at molecular level done it. So therefore, if they can expand it to a human level, we can also just jump from one room to another through a wormhole. And wormhole, which is just a bent space-time continuum, we can reach any time, anywhere we like. Now, if that can be done, then we'll find out where are those other Earth-like planets, and we can go and actually check it out. But till that is done, there's another way of doing it. Although our physical body is limited in its locomotion and transport, we can transport ourselves with the internal body. And if the internal body is really the real source of this body, and we travel with that, we should be able to see other parts of this universe. That we can do. That we have done. People have done that. They have done and gone and seen that there are other planets and other universes with living beings on it with same kind of souls like we have. And those souls who inhabit those people, they are following different laws of nature. The gravity works differently there. Time works differently there. From an experience, one of the experiences of one of these journeys, I can tell you that in one of these universes, time is being used like a watch. Like we use a watch here, but we use a watch only to see time. They use the watch to control time. They can speed up a little. So while you people are sitting here, I could be in tomorrow or day after tomorrow. And they think it's very normal. They use time like we use space. When we are walking on a road with some friends, somebody can walk a little faster. Then he's gone ahead. Others can run up and catch, or he can stop and let others join. We are controlling our speed of movement on space right now. But we don't touch the time with it because the time frame required for this is very little compared to the time frame in a wormhole or in using for interstellar space. But there, people there in a certain universe have their technology, advanced technology, by which they control at what speed they move in time. And it's just like ours moving on space. It's natural for, okay, I'll meet you. I'm going ahead, I'll meet you next week. I'll be there today, but you can join me next week. And we can't think of it here, but there it's normal. So there are so many universes right now on the physical plane of existence. We see such a small slice of what exists here. But supposing you go to the next higher level, you can experiment and go around and see all these things. This is called the side benefit of spiritual journeys. It's not our spiritual journeys to go back to a true home, discover who we are, but this also releases the potential. Releases the potential of how much capacity we have. We have the capacity to examine the whole of creation at every level. Starting from this one, starting from the physical level, you can examine the whole of it through this power of consciousness when you raise it to a different level. So don't think that meditation is merely to get peace of mind. It's a great adventure travel. You can travel beyond all imagination. You can understand the nature of creation. You can understand what a variety of creation it is and travel all over. I'm not giving you an incentive speech to go there. It just happens to be that this is part of the benefits of a spiritual travel through meditation. Meditation, the art of withdrawing your attention within yourself and thereby releasing the higher potential of your inner selves, inner forms, inner bodies, is so great. With the very first step of releasing yourself from the feeling this is your only form, your body, but you have an inner form, that next inner form, which consists of all your sense perceptions, you're able to see very clearly. Those eyes never get bad. You may be wearing glasses here, having poor eyesight, but those eyes can see, read the finest small print. The inner eyes can see. All of us have that. They can hear the slightest sound. The ears, inner ears. The inner sense perceptions have such great power of perceiving, much better than what we have on this physical body. In fact, these are the inner senses that are operating through the cover of this physical body, and therefore they get dull and operate much less effectively. But when you release yourself from these through meditation and become unaware of this body and become aware of that one, which is natural and automatic, when you withdraw your attention from here, behind the eyes where seat of consciousness is in the wakeful state, when you withdraw your attention there, you automatically become unaware of this and open up an awareness of who is meditating. And that's yourself in the next form. That form itself can give you such great trips around creation that your mind will fall in love with them. And people want to say, it's very difficult to leave this world. My mind thinks of all these things. Have one vision of those. Make one good trip there, and you will never feel attached to these things or tempted to go over here. People say, our attachments are coming in the way. Of course they're coming in the way, because we have taken so many lives to create these attachments here. We have attachments with people, attachments with things, and we can't get rid of them. Some people say, you should practice detachment. Can you do it? Not really. I have not met a single person who successfully practiced detachment. I have met yogis, sadhus, holy people sitting out in the Himalayan mountains, trying to detach themselves by running away from here. And their mind is always going back to the cities and towns which they left behind. If you try to run away from something, thinking it's a detachment, your mind doesn't run away. When I came, I had a great fondness for a pizza called Ye Old Shakey's Pizza. It's almost disappeared from the country now, but I find some places still have it. And I loved that pizza. Supposing I want to detach myself from that attachment, and I say, no more Shakey's Pizza, no more pizza. The more I try to push it away, the more I will think about it. The more attached I will get to it. That is something Our nature is like this, that when we try to push something away, we stay mentally more with it. Therefore, you can't practice detachment by pushing yourself away from anything. Then how do we practice detachment? How can we be detached if this is the nature of our mind? The only way is if a better pizza comes. I like the taste better, the shape better, I forget the old one. Then I am detached from the old one, which means I have to be attached to something new in order to be detached from the old. And that is where this love and devotion comes into play. I loved that pizza, I love this new one more, that's why I'm forgetting about it. I love these people, but I love something more, so I'm not bothered so much, it's not coming in my way. Only a fresh, new attachment can create detachment from the past, not practicing detachment. Therefore, the role of a perfect living master sometimes is exactly this, to create a permanent object of love, where the love for a master, inside and outside, automatically makes us detached from the others. It's not that you practice detachment. You are actually going through a process of attachment through love and devotion, which creates detachment by itself, by nature, and you don't have to do anything about it. The role of love and devotion comes and plays a very big thing. This role is very important in the spiritual path, that the love and devotion for a master that we have. How can we have more love and devotion for a master than we can have other people? Why can't we practice with anybody? We should be able to practice this love and devotion for every human being. We should love the whole world. Well, love is a very double-sided, there's reciprocity in love. If you love somebody, then you must get the same amount of love. I gave a mathematics on this earlier. But when you love the world, sometimes just when you love somebody, they hate you. What kind of love is that? You say, I love you, and the other person says, but I don't. Get away from me. What kind of love is this? And sometimes we say, the other person says, yes, I love you too. Say, I love you too. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Are you certain? What is that kind of love? We have to ask reassurance again and again. Isn't it not a mental game? These are mental games of attachment. They are not games of love. When you have true love for somebody, you forget yourself. But in the mental game of attachment, you are very prominently knowing yourself. I love you. Ego, I love you. I is so strong when you say, I love you. If somebody says, well, I don't, I also hate you now. What's this I game, this ego game? Therefore, when we try to have this experience of love with the world, sometimes it works, sometimes doesn't. Sometimes it works for a little while, and then it doesn't work. During my experience throughout the world, it's not one country or one nation or one culture. Throughout the world, I've met people who say, men and women telling me, we are soulmates. How did you find your soulmates? We love each other so much. We got so much love for each other. We are made for each other. We are going to marry. Then they get married. Then 3 months later, sometimes 6 months later, they come back to me. We are in the divorce court. What happened to that soulmate stuff? You said you were soulmates, you loved so much, you were made for each other. No, we found out from day one, we were never meant for each other. But that's not what you said on day one to me. Imagine, is this our experience of love and devotion in this world? If there is no stability, if there is no reliability in the beloved, how can you call it love? But there is one love. And I tell you from experience. Now this is, I'm guaranteeing from my own experience, that the love that you get from a perfect living master is totally unconditional and permanent. Now that's not a small thing. You can be good or bad. The perfect living master loves you. Non-judgmental, completely. Most of the love that we come across in this world is judgmental. Oh, you weren't good, therefore I don't love you. Parents telling their kids, you are naughty, behave, don't give you this. All of our love in this world is so judgmental. It's based upon judgment all the time. We judge people for everything. We judge people we have no connection with. We are judging politicians, we are judging people sitting together, constantly using our mind for judgment. And here is a man who comes in your life with no judgment at all. Won't judge anybody, just love. When you experience that love, it's totally different because it's totally unconditional love. And that love never goes away. It's always there, no matter what. Now to have that experience of love, and you can have that experience of love in your life on a daily basis by missing that person, remembering that person, and closing your eyes and seeing that person, how can you be attached to anything else? With that love, all attachments slowly disappear. The practice of detachment is not necessary in that case. Of course, we need to be detached in order to go back to our true home. But you can't try to be detached. But to experience the love of a perfect living master, you will be detached and you will be able to go back home. So these are practical things that we can all do. All human beings are endowed with these great gifts to be able to have all these experiences. I am not unique in any way that I am having these experiences or sharing with you. You all have the same potential, same capability to have these. Only give it a fair trial. Make the first few steps. You make a few first steps, you will find great power inside yourself, your own consciousness, pulling you with 10 steps. You take one step, 10 steps will pull you in. So use your spiritual will to overcome your mental will. The mental will is taking you out, spiritual will is pulling you in. Follow the spiritual will. Follow intuition over reason. Reason is what makes the mental will, the mind's will. Intuition is the inner knowledge, gut feeling, feeling with no time, feeling that suddenly comes. Follow that spiritual will, and you will be able to turn around and go back home just with these few steps you take. If you take these steps and have never met a master in your life, but this seeking is in you to discover, master will come automatically into your life through coincidences and circumstances. And if this seeking goes on, whatever you will seek, you will get. You want to seek some little frills of the spiritual knowledge, you will get that. You want to go and find out the universal mind, you will get that. But if you want to seek your true home, you'll get your true home. Succession of masters may come. Masters may take you to one stage or the other. Several masters may come in your life. But if your seeking goes on beyond what each master gives, you'll keep on getting more till you reach true home. This is a beautiful opportunity we have had. I'm so glad so many of you who are present here are joining me in this journey. We are all co-travelers, and I want to enjoy the travel with all of you. And whoever wants to travel, most welcome. We travel on our inner journey to true home. Remember, the pathway is inward, not outward. If anybody tells you to go within, follow. Don't start judging, is he a master or not? If he is giving you the right direction, at least move in the direction. If he is a guide, he will take you to the point where he has gone. After that, say, I want more direction, you will get more. It's your own seeking that will lead you to your true home. Thank you very much for listening to me so patiently. And also I want to thank you once again for the birthday celebration that you had. Gave me a big surprise. Well, before we end, I think Guillermo Torres, my good friend, is telling me that there is prasad. You know what prasad is? It's blessed food. The blessing, again I want to explain it because some people think that the whole thing changes by blessing. No, the molecular structure of the prasad does not change by blessing. The material composition does not change. What changes is our own association with that. When somebody gives you a gift, it's not the gift that changes. Somebody gives you a gift with love. Every time you see the gift, love comes back. It's the association with that gift that is valuable. Prasad is like that. I am invoking the blessings of the great master into this food that we're going to serve, the little thing that we're giving, which you call prasad. Take a little bit at a time. Make it last for a while. Every time you take it, you will remember when it was given to you. And so this moment will become longer by just taking prasad and taking slowly at a time. Now, I would love to come to give the prasad. I always say I want to come and give it to you where you are sitting. But being old, will it be all right if I request you to come up to me and take it? And how many of you would like to have this? Okay. Then we'll make arrangements so that we'll remove all this equipment from here.
A few questions.
Oh, before we go there, there's a few questions. I have to refresh myself to answer the difficult questions. Let me start with a small one. Can I do healing work as a profession without taking on other people's karma? If you do healing work using your energies from the energetic centers, you do take on karma. If you do healing work with love, staying in the mind, in the head, not using heart chakra or any energy chakra, but with love you try to heal people, it's okay. No karma there. What karma goes to a satsangi parent who provides food including meat, fish and eggs to a non-vegetarian dependent child? Same karma like he would be eating meat, fish and eggs himself or herself. Therefore, one should not feed the children. If the children grow up eating on their own, that is their karma and not the parents. So far as parents are concerned, while children are dependent upon them, they should give the right food which they think is right for themselves. In one of your videos from London, England, in 2012, after completing a demonstration of the orange juice experiment, you asked if anyone had cleared out the body with water. Then you mentioned that using water was a great way to clear out the clutter of the mind. That comes in the way of meditation. Can you explain or take us through a demonstration on how to use this technique? That's a whole 1 hour program. But those who come to the next meditation workshop, if you remind me, I will do it. May you explain, please, the 3 functions of the mind. The 3 functions of the mind are, first of all, sensing from the sense perceptions. When we see with our eyes, touch with our hands, ear with ear, or we smell or taste, these 5 sensory perceptions, the mind picks up and recognizes them. And then it puts it together in a form in which it makes sense to us, to make sense. If we did not do that, these will not look like roses and look like beautiful flowers. If the mind did not perform this function, they will look like red patches against a green background or white background, and that's all. They just be the colors, just the forms. But what makes them roses and what makes them flowers is the mind putting these senses together and composing. That's the first function of the mind, to sense. Second function of the mind is to reason, to think. And that's a continuous function. The mind is thinking all the time. It's thinking about things it has seen, thinking about people it has known, thinking about commitments it has made, thinking about attachments it has created, and thinking about wrong things it has done and feel guilt, or thinking about the good things it has done and expecting a reward, and so on. The thinking mind is the primary function, non-stop function of the mind that goes on. The third function of the mind is creativity. It creates new patterns out of whatever it picks up. creates new patterns, new inventions, new poetry, new things, and those are all from whatever elements have been picked up, some in this life, some in previous lives. It reassembles and creates new things. These are the three functions of the mind. And three functions of the soul are to have intuitive knowledge, gut feeling, love, and appreciation of beauty and joy. Thank you. Which karma is deleted after initiation? There are three kinds of karma. The one we are born with in this human life, which is called destiny, or pralabdha karma, which means we are born with that package, and those events which we are born with are birth, where we will be born, where we will die, where we will have accidents, where we will fall sick, where we will meet people, who are the people we will meet, how will we meet them, how long we will be with them. These are all pralabdha karma and are determined before we are born. In fact, they are determined before we are conceived. In Hindi they say, pralabdha pehle bani, pache bana sharir. The destiny was made prior to the beginning of the making of this body in the womb of a mother. So that destiny we bring with us. And we go through it because it's already predetermined. At a higher level, we'll find everything is predetermined. But at this level, only pralabdha seems to be predetermined. Then there are gaps between these events, which we call destiny or pralabdha, and we fill those gaps with making choices with our free will. When we make a choice where we say, should I do this or that, which means there is a deliberative function of making a choice. We are creating a new karma, and we call it kareman karma, or developing a new fate for ourselves for future. Those decisions that we make by thinking and deciding with our free will is the second set of karma, and that leads to a pralabdha for the next life or a consequence within the same life. You do something, you commit murder, you are hanged or killed by the government, that's a settlement of the karma in the same life. You are very good and you win a lottery, you are being rewarded the same life. But sometimes it overruns into the next life. So what you are doing with your free will or apparent free will is your second type of karma. The third type of karma we call the reserve karma or sinchit karma. The sinchit karma is which we have accumulated from several past lives, but there is no scope to play it out all in one life. Even in this life, we create so much karma because karma is not created by action but by intention. If you intend to do something wrong, you've already done it. If you intend to do something good, you've already done it. That all adds up. So, since in one lifetime we create so much karma, which can never be paid off in one life, therefore the surplus goes into a reserve and is held inside our mind and is used in future lives. Anything can be picked up from a life that was 10 lives earlier, 20 lives, 100 lives earlier, and that can be picked up to make a new life. Supposing you decide today, I want to lead a karma-free life. I will live in God's will. I will make no decision except go with circumstances. I will just go with the flow and have no karma. Even then, next time, you can have a huge lot of karma from this sinchit reserve that you've created. So sinchit karma is the reserve karma. At the time of initiation, only the sinchit karma is dissolved and removed, deleted completely. So it cannot be used for having another life. So out of these three, the sinchit or reserve karma is deleted, but you still have to go in this life with your current destiny, and you also can create more karma for a future life. No past karma can be used for that. So that's the only difference. Well, thank you very much for listening patiently again to these answers to questions. I understand from Mark that the many remote viewers not only understand from Mark. During lunch break, I've got several emails from people who watched me already in the morning. I hope I didn't say anything embarrassing. I don't want to say embarrassing things when the world is watching. Mark wasn't there in the last meeting we had, the meditation workshop. They ousted him from there by saying there's no place. For Mark, there should be place for Mark everywhere. But they said the place was full. They had a small place for the meditation workshop in New Mexico. And even Mark could not find a place there. So there was no camera, so I could say certain things. For example, I had gone to Australia and my wife put my laundry, my underwears and all along with the red newly bought clothes, and all my underwear became pink. And by chance, on one of the days in New Mexico, I was wearing a pink underwear, and the shirt was an old shirt, which was small for me. The buttons were popping off. So I was sitting like this, hiding that. And I said, that will be terrible if I have to give the whole talk like this. So I had to confess that this is what has happened. And by the way, I just showed the pink. Thank God you were not there. So anyway, I'm very happy that Mark has arranged this. And to all the international viewers who are viewing me at this time, I wish them blessings of Great Master, and want to thank them because so many of them are already writing to me for happy birthday. I thank them very much. They are very much in their mind, and I'm sure Great Master's blessings are with all those who are viewing this program. Thank you.